This is the biggest success secret that nobody tells you about. I'm Dom Jackson, Day-by-Day Media, and this is the 7-Day Scoop Show, a weekly show where I document my career decisions that I'm making, your adventure trying to pursue. I use my story and my adventures to help motivate and teach you. So, the biggest secret that no one tells you about, that the more I do more things, the more I go down this process. I'm currently in the process of getting my own band, the Cultivating Express franchise. Currently, figuring out getting things better system-wise and sales-wise. The biggest thing that nobody tells you is that whether it be sports, politics, entertainment, the election's coming up right now, everything that is happening, everything that everybody is doing is the first time of it happening. What do I mean by that? It means that people do the same thing over and over them because it's familiar and because they know how to do it. Doing things you don't know how to do yet is hard and takes time to get to that level. So a lot of the time and a lot of the people are just living the same life over and over again and doing the same thing over and over again. But between when you started watching this video and when this video ends, technically anything could have happened. Lots of things happened in between even the start of this video and right now. So a lot of life is just being made up on the fly. It's not like as set in stone as you think. The issue is that, one, people only move in habits. So like they only do things that they know how to do consistently because they know how to do them consistently. Everything else kind of is like a made up on the fly move. As long as you have, one, the confidence to actually take the step towards that move, two, have the stomach to take the conflicts that come with that next step, and three, develop a strategy to actually get to the end point you want to get to, then it's always going to be that middle ground of chaos of just figuring it out. And a lot of life is just figuring it out when you have no idea. Because you can't control everything. You can only control what you do consistently enough to make it a habit so that you can do it without really thinking about it. And that is one of the biggest things I've realized with this whole process. To go into actual career moves now, last week I was in OKC doing my training because I'm trying to get my own band in the Cultivating Express franchise, and I'm learning how to operate it. I was alone for a lot of the time, and there were a lot of things I had habit loops for. I could sell, I could program certain cars, I knew where certain things and how machines work, so I knew how to hit all these things. There was 10 things I could do very systematically, very easily without having to worry about it, because I wasn't thinking about it. I was like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. Problems would show up, I'd have a solution for those problems. Done. A problem came up, I know how to solve it fast. I did that as fast as possible, and I did that consistently as possible. But then there are things I didn't have habit loops for, or things that I didn't have as easy a process of getting done. So when I got to them, I had to think a little bit more. It took me a lot more work. I was struggling, took a lot more time, and I felt worse about myself in those scenarios because it was out of my comfort zone, which is okay. But with that being said, all of your life is currently, and all of life is currently, whether it be you, the person you're talking to, the next person you talk to, the person you call next, everyone is just figuring it out at the same time. They just have a better strategy, or they just have a better system for figuring out what they want to happen. So with that being the case, I spent a lot more time this week doing more cutting, so manually cutting keys, as you can see some of the footage right here, using some of the things like the Silka, and just literally learning how to do that. And personally, my old mentality was never really one of someone who would do things that take a lot of precision, like carpentry or anything that was like that kind of stuff. I wouldn't really think I would do it before because it's just not like how I thought about life. But that's just the way my own old versions of myself and identity put those labels on me. But in reality, you just do it enough times and you figure that shit the fuck out. And I have a mentor teaching me, the owner of the band, showing me what to do. That's the way this business works. But, the overall point of it is that There's a lot of things currently that you don't know how to do, or like you can do them, but you don't like doing them because you're not good at them. And you just got to put more time into doing them, and it'll become something else you like doing, and then it's like, oh. But understanding that whole entire process, everyone around you or anybody that makes you feel a certain way or anything that makes you feel a certain way is just because that person or that thing either A, reflects a certain set of things that you don't know how to, problems that you don't know how to solve. 2, reflects a problem you do know how to solve, but you don't like solving it because it's hard. 3, reflect that it's a problem you know how to solve, you can solve it, you just don't want to deal with what comes on the other side of solving it. So, everything that you want or want to do is there and it's possible. You just gotta be able to go through the storm of the chaos that it takes to get to the other side and be able to keep that pace up when things don't go your way or when things feel weird or uncomfortable with that. So, going through this process of doing things I don't really like doing or I wouldn't have thought to do, like measuring stuff and cutting stuff, like, bro, I was not in my old ideology of who I was. But now I'm like, hey, it don't matter. I want to get this done. I want to get this position. I want to get this form, this set up. So I have to just go through the chaos of the L's it takes to get to the next level, put the reps in to evolve, and it's really getting done. So, now I'm just practicing cutting keys as many times as possible throughout the week. I get there in the morning, I'm putting a little thing set up, the mentor showing me what to do, how to set up each lane and cut everything. The setup for each position, I'm getting helped out a lot. And that's like the nature of the business, teach you and grow. But there's so many other avenues in my own life, or in your own life too, that you can think about and be like, oh, how do I put the reps in to get better at this as much as possible? Another thing that I learned this week was that I actually hit a new PR as far as one day. I think the best, to give you numbers for scale relative to how I used to put them, if the most I ever made in one day was like, I ever sold was $170 worth of stuff. In this past week, I hit like 250 something on one day, which is amazing because like getting 500 in an entire week was like one of the initial goals. And now I can do half of that in a day. So just to give you the idea of what my capacity for workload has evolved since I started in this process. And it was cool because it was like, oh, it's a new high, I hit this new level. But at the same time, I don't really feel anything towards it because my like new standard is so much higher, because there's so many other things I want to get done that like hitting a new high in something that I would like get a new high in isn't as fun as learning how to cut this key and getting my first key that worked, that I cut, that I went to the car and opened up. So it's interesting that the levels of the skill set that you have things in, you'll have your one thing that you're amazing in all the time because you just put the most time in there. Then you have things that like you're like gotten better at and that might feel good. Then you have the thing that's like absolute terrible, complete dog shit. But you got a little bit better in that. And I find the things that I like going from here to here are the ones that feel the best for me a lot of the time currently. At the same time, finding how to go from like the thing to have the best at to like the next level of best is also its own level of fun too. So constantly finding ways to improve and grow, and what that looks like and how to map that out is the actual game, as long as you're willing to try it and do it. Final thoughts was, with that day I hit my new PR in sales for one day. I'm in this spot, in this position with this career path, with this business mind. But even then, I'm still not as I'm not as much an entrepreneur as I think I am sometimes, because on the day I hit that PR, I sold all those keys this week. I was in a different mentality because we go out as a team and get stakes when we hit a certain number, and we were very close to that number. But we rose to the occasion enough to hit one of our minimum goals, but not enough to get the highest goal that we need to hit. In that time period, I was like, I gotta figure out how to become the version of me that can hit this goal. And I grew to the level I'd never hit before. So my mentality changed. I was like, how do I sell $30 worth of keys an hour? That was like my new mentality, which is very different because if I sold 1 key an hour, it'd be like, okay, cool. That was like the first standard. But a certain amount of dollars in keys per hour is a whole different thing. I gotta try to see if I can get people to buy double the key. I can see if I can get them to buy a secondary key that they might need. I gotta see if I can get them to bring someone else in that time period. I gotta take someone who like I might have talked to and just gave information to see if they actually want to buy. So there's a lot of moments that I would have been like, oh, okay, cool. Oh, okay, this. Then I'm like, no, this is the result that's going to happen. And then the law of averages of how that many, that happens, just how many numbers, how many times it goes around. Eventually my percentage will go up because I've done it enough times, I found a way to get there. So it's very interesting to see that no matter what and where you are currently, the version of you that you want to be or the things you want to accomplish are there. You just got to figure out how to do it and get there. But everyone else who is accomplishing things or trying to get things done is doing the exact same thing. You just think, or you just look like you think they look like they're doing more than you, but they're just not afraid to fail. So, as always, take it one step at a time. You'll get there day by day.